Hey guys, and welcome back to another vlog. I have to firstly apologise, of course, for the lack of content over the past few weeks. Reason being, I've been sort of quite busy, been preoccupied with the fact that I've sort of finished shows now, and I really sort of wanted to be focusing on maybe other things that take priorities. So, what am I going to be doing in this video? I'm going to be updating you guys on sort of where I am right now and what my plans are, because it's obviously maybe a bit unclear for anyone that doesn't follow me on Instagram or doesn't follow me on Facebook. Maybe it's a bit unclear for you guys what I'm sort of doing, and obviously the series that I did leading up to my shows has sort of ended, so you're probably wondering what's in store for me now. So obviously my shows have finished. My last one was 5 weeks ago, so I'm now sort of very much out of sort of the preparation feels, so to speak. So I'm feeling a lot better. My food is on its way up, and it's definitely a lot higher. In fact, it's 1,000 calories higher than it was during my prep. So I'm at about 2,800 calories now, which feels good. I feel good at that intake. Everything seems to be leveling out all fine in terms of sort of my hormones and things like that. Things I probably don't want to go too deep into, but everything seems good, and I'm really happy. I'm definitely a lot more vibrant in my sort of the way that I act, the way that I talk, and the way that I PT my clients in the gym. I'm feeling really good. So that's sort of what's happening with food. Obviously I'm not doing cardio anymore, so that's brilliant. I'm sort of maybe doing like one sort of 20-minute session a week, which is fine, and that's sort of where I'm keeping it at. So that's what's changed. Obviously I'm feeling a lot better. So moving on, what are my plans now? So at the moment I'm considering taking 2 years away from the competitive stage. Whether that means I do take those full 2 years, or whether it means that I sort of come back a little bit sooner, I'm not sure. But we'll probably take 2, and then come back at the top end of the juniors is my sort of plan. Reason being is I think I've got a lot of body parts to improve. I think to be competitive on a junior stage, I think I need to really bring up my upper body. I think my legs could hang in some competitive lineups, providing I come in condition, but I think my upper body certainly has some catching up to do. Hence why I'm going to move on to sort of explaining what my split is like, and what my sort of frequency is like in the gym. So at the moment I'm training on a sort of push-pull arms split. So what you're seeing now in this video, sort of behind the voiceover, is my arm workout. So my sort of bro day, so to speak. So in this session I primarily focus on arms. So I'm doing a lot of volume. I tend to do 2 sort of exercises, so 1 bicep, 1 tricep in the 5 to 8 rep range, and then I move on to 2 exercises in the 8 to 12 rep range, and then finish off with 2 exercises in the 10 to 15 rep range. And I also do some abdominals at the end, which is something I'm trying to do more often, something I really slack on. I think something that we all maybe have neglected in the past is abdominal training. It's not the most sought after. It's not the most thing that you need to prioritise. So I think it's something that maybe takes a back seat. So I think that making sure that I do my abdominal training is something that I also need to sort of address. So yeah, this is my arm day, so to speak. And then obviously, so at the end of that push-pull arms, I consider a day off. So I sort of question myself as to how I'm feeling. I sort of say to myself, are you feeling too tired to start a block again, or do you require that rest day? I sort of auto-regulate my rest days. So if I need one, I take one. If I don't, I go back into the push-pull legs, arms again. And obviously I'm a big fan of a sort of, I mean, in terms of programming, every program has some element of daily undulating periodization, because most people, if you're training for a good amount of time and you develop your knowledge, you'll know that you'll have to start changing up your rep schemes in order to make progression. So I have this day, for example, will not change because I've got a lot of rep ranges going on, so my arm day stays the same. But my push, my pull and my lower, there's hypertrophy and there's power days. So that's sort of my programming at the moment. Some people prefer to run a full 4-week block of just hypertrophy training and then move into a strength training block. I haven't tried that, so I can't really comment, but I think that's something that I might try in the future. But for now, I definitely prefer having a bit of both. So I prefer having my hypertrophy training, and then also looking forward to a strength day later in the week. So coming to the end of this arm day footage, you'll see it transition into a lower body day, which for some reason I think excites you guys more, because I tend to get more engagement and more likes on my lower body training, especially when it's like something heavy. So if I'm squatting something relatively heavy, or for example my hip thrust video, when it's like when I'm moving heavier weight, I think you guys engage with it more and like maybe like that a bit more. So I think that's something I'll try and bring, which leads me on to another discussion as to whether I will be competing in another sport in the future. I think a lot of people have mentioned to me the option of competing in a powerlifting meet at some point. I think it's something that I will consider, partly because I've managed to to some people's dislike, I've managed to reverse diet out of my shows. So I've managed to stay at a pretty good body weight, so I'm about between 8 to 10 pounds above my stage weight, so I'm still about 150 pounds in this video, which I am now. So and I'm feeling good at this body weight, so I think if I can get my strength up whilst gaining minimal sort of body weight or fluff, then I will consider going into maybe a powerlifting meet in the future, because it's something that I really enjoy. It really will get that sort of competitive aspect out of me, because that's something that obviously I'm going to miss when I'm away from the stage. So if I can get involved in powerlifting, that would be something that I'd really look forward to. So if any of you guys that follow me or are watching this video have competed in powerlifting, let me know and tell me where to go in terms of federations. I'm based in sort of southeast sort of area, so anything around this area would be great that I could compete in. I've got a few friends that have competed, so I'm sure there's a round table for discussion as to where I would go, but it would probably be obviously a drug tested event, and yeah, that's something that I'm definitely considering. Also, obviously prior to this video I did sort of Q&A. I really enjoyed doing that, so if any of you guys ever have a question for me, basically just send it via Facebook. You can add me up on Facebook, AJ Morris, or direct message me on Instagram if you have me on there, and just ask me a question and I'll happily do another Q&A video, because I really enjoyed doing it. And I'll happily answer all you guys' questions, because the reason why I set up this channel is because I've over sort of my short period involved in the sport, I have learned a fair amount, and if I can pass it on to sort of individuals like myself that are young, that are looking to get into fitness, that are looking to make a change, I'd happily do that, because I started with limited knowledge, and I made mistakes and I made errors, and it definitely slowed my progress. If I'd had someone similar to myself, a similar age, who I felt I could connect with, and I felt like I could message them and say, you know, hey AJ, what's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on diet? Should I be eating this? How often should I be training? You know, if I'd had that, I think my progression would have been a lot quicker. So that's the reason I set up the channel, and I just want to give back to you guys. So don't feel scared to ask a question or anything like that. Always feel free to message me on Facebook or Instagram, and coming to the end of the footage. So I will catch you guys in the next video. Thanks very much for watching. See you later.